So let us see how we can make our first shell script to run software on Orion. And yeah, I will just simply copy from this module document here, and you should read the stuff both before and after this one. But on Orion, I have now logged in with the terminal here. I use the MOBA Xterm. And I am also logged in with RStudio over here. And this is quite typical. We have both windows to Orion open at the same time, right? That's quite typical. This is how we always work, I would say, on Orion, by these two windows. So, how do we proceed now? Well, we have to make ourselves a shell script. And a shell script is simply a text file with Unix commands and shell. We call it shell. This, commands that we use in Unix is part of a shell language. So copy, and I go into RStudio, because this is where we now use RStudio for making shell programs, you could say, shell scripts, not R code. So we take new file and not R script, but down the list you will see something called shell script here. So RStudio, notice that RStudio can be used for coding a lot of different languages, right? C++, JavaScript, Python, and also shell. So click on shell script here. A new and blank file should appear, and this is where we now paste in our copied text from the module document this time. And I will not go through the details of the content here now, because you read the document here for explaining that. It's pretty detailed described in the module document what the content here is. We notice that we load this FastP software that we saw in the previous video. We have this header part here, which is required in order to make it's not required for a shell script, but this is for the SLURM queuing system to interpret. That's why we have this keyword sbatch in front of the rest of. And notice that a hashtag is a comment here, just as it is in R. So that's the same. Yeah. And there are some codes in here, and here we start actually running the software. But this we now have to save. It's still unsaved. And I think it's a good idea to make a folder now. Module 5 folder. And you can of course just click here on new folder. If you are on your home folder and click here, it will be under your home, right? Or I think I will actually do it here instead. So I'm here also in my home folder. If not, I can just type CD and jump to my home folder. And then I make a new folder here like this. This is how you make a directory in Unix. And I call this module 5 in one. No spaces. You cannot have spaces in file names or folder names in Unix. If you want to have something separating, you can use an underscore like this, but never a space. So now, if I list here, yeah, I have a lot of stuff in my folder, so I don't think in my home folder. I will not list it here because it's so crowded. You can do that, just list the content. Instead, I will go back to RStudio, refresh the file viewer here, and I will scroll down and see if I can find this. Here it is now, module 5 folder, and I click into it. It's of course empty. But now I should save this file in that folder. So save as, and now I have to make sure I actually know where I save my file. And this I have to really say out loud. You have to know where you save your files. I think that's by far the most common cause of problems for people in this course, that they don't realize where you save your files. So please pay attention to what you are doing. Now I click into this folder here and I save it in this folder, and I call it fastp.sh. Wasn't that what we were told to call it? Yeah, I don't know why this one popped up, because yeah, fastp and then .sh. Let me try to save it with and forgetting this extension. I think RStudio will actually help me. Yes. Can you see that? Just as if you remember the .r extension on R scripts, RStudio will help you to remember that a shell script should always have the extension .sh. Yeah, so that's good. We have RStudio to look after ourselves in case we forget. Okay, now we have saved it, and now I have to move into this folder. And if I type only part of the name and press the tab button, did you see that? If you type part of the name and then press the tab button, the terminal will fill in the rest of the name, as long as this is the name of a folder in the folder where you are already operating. And here I can list the content, because this doesn't contain a lot, only this single file, fastp.sh. Okay, so how do I actually run this on Orion? Well, we have to submit it to the SLURM queuing system, and the command for doing that is sbatch. Sbatch is something you type and then the name of the script, right? This file name here. Notice how you can copy and paste by just clicking with the mouse. You highlight by you copy by just dragging the mouse over holding the left button down, and then you just paste in here by right clicking. Whoops. Yeah, I already did it, so I don't do it again. That's it for that's what you need in order to start a shell script and return. And notice now you get this message here, submitted batch job, and here is the job ID. This is the number allocated to this job. So if you want to sort of do something to this job, you have to refer to it by this number here. This is what we call the job ID. We can now look into the queue to see if our job is running. SQ like this. If you just type SQ, you will list all jobs running. And that's a lot, right? There are probably hundreds of jobs running at the same time. No, not hundreds, but at least many jobs. If you only want to see the jobs that you own, and that's the sensible thing to do, you type -u and your username, and my username is like this, and of course your username is something else. So you can type that to see your jobs. I do this to see my jobs. And here you can see I actually have a lot of jobs running that has nothing to do with bin 310. Because if you look under this column, in this column here called partition, you will see the jobs running on the bin 310 partition. And the only thing I have running here is called, yeah, you can't see the full name of it. It's Jupyter Hub actually. And that is actually the RStudio. So this other job that I just started, it doesn't seem like it's in the queue here. So what happened? I think it has already finished because this is such a small job. Let's go back to RStudio here and refresh here. And then you can see some new files appeared here. The first thing I notice is this log file. And that is actually what I ask for here. In the output, I want the output that would otherwise go to the screen here. It should be in a file called fastp underscore, and then this %j means put the job ID in here. And can you see that? This is actually the same number, 347891, that we saw here earlier when we submitted the job. I have to scroll back. Can you see that? This is the same number. This is the job ID. This is now included in the name of the log file because I did like this. Always do that. I would say always keep this %j as part of the log file name. This log file is something we look into if things go wrong, I would say. In this case, it seems like things work because we got some output here. We got 3 new FASTQ files after this filtering, and we also got something here. We will have a look at that later. But this log file is something it's an ordinary text file. It's usually not very big, and I can actually just click on it here to open it in RStudio. And you can see it's a perfectly readable file. And if there's some error or things crashed for some reason, this is where you go to look, and then you will typically see at the end of the file some error message telling you why this crashed. But here there is no error message, so I think this is fine. And it has some content here. I think that notice that some of this information here is something you can look into for second assignment, I think. Yeah, from this log file from running fastp. Okay, but this seems to have been successful, and yeah, I think I will try to run it again just to show you how this queuing looks like when the job is running. And then I have to, because this job runs so fast, I have to be very quick to type how I list the queue. And actually, instead of listing all output from this command here, I use the up arrow note, just repeat the previous command. And I think I will just put in this grep here to just filter out those lines who contain bin 310 in their name. So I don't have all these other listings here, right? So now I have that command. If I go one step back, one step back, one step, there is the fastp. So let me now submit again, and then I immediately type this SQ to see that it is now running. And you can see over here that the files are being produced again, overwriting the old ones. And now I guess the job is done. You can see now when I did the SQ, the job had been running for 3 seconds. And it was running on the node called CN25, actually the same as the RStudio. Because that's part of our bin310 partition, this node. So if I run this again now, you can see this job is out of the queue because it's done. It's finished again. And I got like this, another log file here now. But it contains exactly the same thing because I did it again. But each time you run the same job, or the same shell script, it will be a new job, right? You can see it's a new number now. So there will be a log file each time. And these log files, as I said, we typically use them when something goes wrong. So now everything was fine, and then I just delete them. I don't need them anymore. Okay, so that was our first SLURM submission of the first shell script. And we will keep doing this over and over and over and over again in bin 310.